Hello fellow citizens, welcome to the channel. My name is Tony, this is the 15-minute gaming channel. Patch 3.12 has hit the PTU. There is much to cover here, so without further ado, let's crack straight on with it. As always, let's start with the testing focuses in this patch. So they want to test the Xperia Talon. Yes, it's in here, but only if you've bought it. So if you haven't bought it, you can't test it. Reputation T1, Space Station Refining, Space Station Refinery Decks, Planetary Visual Improvements, Restricted Area Reworks, Spacescape and Updates, Elevator Panel Updates, Multi-Tool Tractor Beams, Ship Entry Identification, Mining Ui Refactor, the Gemini A03 Sniper Rifle, and the FS9 LMG. Known issues in this patch before we get on to covering what each of them new features are. Players can load into the game missing multiple items. Select CRU series station external elevators are missing. This is Crew L1 and Crew L5. Completed refinery orders cannot be sent to ships. UI information is missing, preventing the storage and cancellation of orders. The shopkeepers of both live fire weapons and guaranteed defense are stood away from their desks. Visiting locations from a fresh boot will cause the player to spawn on / below the surface, which could be quite annoying. Ships are unable to be restocked. Being arrested with both utility slots occupied causes the players to respawn in prison with a broken multi-tool. And finally, visor comm will become squished. There was also a massive black screen issue that actually got this pushed back a day or two. I'm hoping to fix that. There's a massive list of bug fixes at the end, which I'm not even going to cover. I'll put them in the post separately. So yeah, that is the known issues. Let's move on and talk about some of these new features. As I said, there's a lot to get through here and a lot of information. So I'm going to do a too long didn't read kind of format on a lot of them. So first up, locations, Space Station Refinery Decks. These are basically places where you have to go now to refine your materials, get new mining equipment or rent it, and you can take stuff that you've been mining, turn it into refined materials there. It's persistent as well, so it's not just instant, it can take time. Then when you go back, you can go and get your stuff. Then you can load up and sell them on at ports. So all them little terminals you used to do that have all been moved into these new area. We've got Spacescaping in Stanton, which is the first look at gas cloud implementation and more interesting points inside the verse. Reputation T1. This is a way where you can go and get reputation as you complete missions. The more reputation you've got, the more money you get, the more jobs and the harder jobs you'll get. And it is stored in long-term persistent, so it'll remain through database wipes and character resets. This is just tier 1 in the future. You know, there is going to be things if you kill lots of players, it'll get worse, kill NPCs, that sort of thing. So there's going to be NPCs and organizations out there to work for, and there's going to be mission givers around and about where you can go get your missions from and get your reputation. There's going to be bounty and assassination missions which have guild systems around, and if you do, you know, there's 3 of them, and as you do a little bit with each, you'll get more reputation till you get to the top, and then you'll get more perks as you go through. Weapon zeroing, T0. Basically that just means the first pass kind of thing. This, if you don't know what weapon zeroing is, it allows you to aim at distance. So if a target is in the distance, a lot of games, like if you played Sniper Elite and stuff, you have to think, right, okay, that's 100 meters away. So you adjust your zero into 100 meters, and then you can account for bullet drop, and the sights should stay on the target. So you don't have to like aim above the target if you've got zeroing done. This is done with page up and page down. Multi-tool tractor beam implementation. This is T0 again, so again, the first look at it. This was shown inside Star Citizen last week or the week before. And what this allows you to do is pick objects up to 250 kilograms, manipulate them, move them, store them, so you don't even have to pick them up anymore. And then there's also a Grapple Hook as its second feature. So if there's a stationary object, you're in EVA, you can grapple hook and kind of move around like Spider-Man. Looks kind of cool. Ship entry identification. So this adds dynamic AR markers onto a player's display when in close proximity to your vehicle to aid in entry, which is good. Because sometimes you do, for new players, I can imagine getting in and out of ships is quite confusing because some have panels, some have buttons, some have things hidden away, some you just have to click on the canopy, the staircase, whatever. So you can turn that on and off. So if you're an experienced player, and you're getting your ship all the time, you can just turn it off. A cool new feature is ship thrusters now create wind volumes. When in use, they will interact and blow away physics-based objects such as ships and players. So yeah, just imagine a reclaimer taking off. Whew, that's going to create some wind. So yeah, I can't wait to see that in game. Ships and vehicles, we've got the Xperia Talon and the Xperia Talon Shrike. For those who don't know the difference, they're both light fighters. The normal Talon is more of a gunship. The Xperia Talon Strike has better missiles but worse guns. Basically, that's the difference between the two. They're about, out of game, about £90. In game, I don't know yet. Weapons and items, so we have the two new weapons, which is the Gemini 0A3, no, the A03 sniper rifle, and the Baron FS9 LMG. So yeah, they both were covered not so long ago inside Star Citizen. Look kind of cool. Location and feature updates. So we've got the Planetary Improvements. So there's been a big pass on the planet and look at more assets, more biome. Cloud layer visuals, so clouds will cast shadows across the landscape as they move. There's new assets in biome packs. They've updated assets, including height maps. They've reintroduced glossy/icy surfaces on Yella and Lyra. And they've got some of them on Hurston and Microtech, so there's loads of new improvements around there. Elevator panel updates, replacing the existing can never say that word. Utilitarian. I don't know. You know what I mean. Utilitarian. Elevator panel buttons with interactive screens. So you won't just walk up and have the two little buttons and then you'll get the big menu. It's a screen that'll pop up. Restricted area rework. Removal of landing splines at Area 18 and Lowville Spaceport and updating restricted flight areas around the spaceport. These were causing a few problems, especially for me. As I'd approach Area 18, sometimes the bay would just close before I got there, or you could blow up or whatever, so that's good. Added platinum bays on the Moon Cleo. Gameplay, moving on to new features in there. So we've got mining Ui Refactor. This update adds a brand new user interface for all mining capable vehicles, which will provide the player with a more clearer overview of what they're currently experiencing. So, mining consumables, cargo, volatile, a bit of a better UI so you can see what you're doing when you're mining. Rebalance pass on minables, mining laser, and mining consumables. So there's balance changes to aspects of mining due to the new refining system. So there's going to be an increased potential for finding valuable materials and make mining more profitable at lower ends while providing more high-end multiplayer opportunities for multi-crew mining ships. Minables across the entire game have been tweaked to provide a higher maximum percentage, because the way the thing works with refining, it depends on the percentages to where you get it. Resistance and instability curve scaling has been eased slightly to prevent huge spikes in difficulty in lower end minables, so that's a good thing to see. Mining lasers have been overhauled to bring them in line with the new minables. So there's widespread changes to power outputs, instability, resistance, shatter, change rates, optimal charge window, and overcharge rates as well. So that's good because I've got the Prospector and the Rock, so I want to give that a bit of a go. Weird wheeled vehicle and aiming improvements. So there's improved wheeled vehicle and aiming gameplay surrounding the Rock and other ground vehicles. Rework control scheme, so you can include V-Joy controls and getting the wheel vehicle and ship controls closer together. You can turn them on and off, and the Rock mine arm will follow the V-Joy. Interdiction in the manual gimbal mode. You can press G to swap. Added the ability to disable the auto brake on and off. You can then change it how strong it's going to be. You can freeze the aim vector. There's quite a lot around there in new features. Countermeasures version 1.1. So what you'll be able to do, this basically goes down to flares have now been renamed to lures and now have different modes to control how multiple launchers work, including launch burst, or set and launch burst to set out multiple or default lure burst, so you can have it set. So you want to set 1 out, 2 out, 3 out, 3 and 3 and 3, stuff like that. So countermeasures have also now have sound effects, rework, and also, it says here, there's more of an important role in spoofing missiles. Single countermeasures will be less effective, so you go after more burst fire countermeasures. Torpedo attack, a rebalance of size 9 torpedoes. They're now much deadlier with only a few direct hits required to bring down larger ships. The extra damage comes at the cost of speed, and also if the countermeasures are getting better, they need to make the torpedoes a little bit better, otherwise the countermeasures will just outdo everything else. Got some head tracking updates as well, so you know, like the Tobai eye tracker and stuff like that, which you could get a good deal on at the moment. So there's eye tracking, there's head tracking, there's track IR, so there's lots of improvements around that. Smaller ship input quality of life improvements, moved vehicle exit actions to a delayed press of 250 milliseconds, added game setting options to switch seat actions, so basically getting in and out, they've changed all that sort of thing. Move vehicle eject to right alt and Y now, so that's a bit of a change. EVA binding and control, added roll inversion, removed strafe inversion settings from middle MKB, removed unused pitch actions in EVA action map and code, so they've basically updated all that. Moving on to ordnance replenishing, this was an interesting one. We have now hooked up key ordnance on ships, so missiles, shafts and flares, in all Krieg Astro/landing service functionality that run through the shop surface. So this means it's going to get more expensive to replenish your ships if you're going to land and just replenish, and that means they can bring in dynamic pricing basically. Moving on to all the rest of the little things that they've done regarding rebalancing and ordnance and stuff like that. Temporary rebalance to distortion weapons, pending a more extensive update later. Adjusted all ground turrets to have a higher signature for faster player detection. This was a bit annoying because sometimes you couldn't even see until you got hit. Added axis inversions for EVA strife axes. Added button to reset velocity limited to SEM speed. Space brake is now an axis, allowing for variable analog braking, so you can choose how much brake you want to have. Updated types of ships that the UEE security can spawn. Added new non-directional shield hit communications in the ship computers. Added SFX ducking when personal in a fort is open. Added the Origin 100 series ship to dealers within the PU. They've also there's lots, isn't there? Increased the hydrogen fuel tank size on the Nomad and the Mercury Star Runner, so you're not going to be running out of hydrogen all the time. They've unfortunately have decreased the hull HP of the Mercury Star Runner to bring it more in line with ships in its class, and they've reduced the I don't even know what this means, verbosity of some ship computer notifications, and more importantly, increased the gloss amount on Hammered Hull. And also there's been some balance passes on the LMG FPS weapon damage, and there's been a boatload of bug fixes, loads and loads and loads. And there's also fixed sign, 6 client crashes and 5 server. When we're looking at the fixing issues, these are more that they've kind of, you know, put it in from what they've caused lately. But some of the important ones, they fixed an issue which was causing ship canopies to open and close without user input. That was super annoying because I don't know if you've ever, I think was it the Nomad kept turning me around. I don't know if that was linked to that, but also it happened quite a lot in the Gladius as well. So yeah, that was a little bit annoying. You were like, every time you'd move it go shh, and then let all the air in and stuff. Apart from that, it's all just been little issues in there that they're kind of fixing. But that was kind of the big one for me, was that they finally fixed that. No, they have not fixed people standing on chairs or anything like that. That is not in here. And that is the update. Wow, that's a lot going on for 3.12. Still no 400i news yet, or when it's going to be in, or how it's going to be in. We should see this hitting live within the next 7 to 10 days maximum. So yeah, keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the channel, and I'll keep you updated. But thank you very much for listening to me and watching the video, and I'll catch you all the next time. Goodbye.